Self-motivation is the quiet force that propels us forward when the world is silent, when applause fades, and when no one is there to push us. It's the inner flame that burns not for recognition, but for purpose, kindled by our deepest desires and values. I remember a time when I embarked on a personal project, a novel I dreamed of writing. Friends and family offered initial encouragement, but as weeks turned into months, their attention waned. The silence was daunting, yet it taught me a profound truth. True motivation must come from within. It begins with clarity about what matters most to us, whether it's creating art, pursuing a career goal, or improving our health. This clarity transforms vague wishes into concrete aspirations. Unlike external validation, which is fleeting, self-motivation is rooted in personal meaning. It's about finding the why behind our actions, a reason so compelling that it sustains us through solitude and setbacks. Discovering this spark requires introspection, asking what drives us when no one else is watching. The absence of external support can feel like a heavy fog, obscuring our path and tempting us to stall. Without cheers or deadlines, it's easy to question our efforts or wonder if they're worth it. I've faced this in my own journey, particularly during long nights spent refining my writing, when doubt whispered that no one would care about the finished work. Yet, solitude is not the enemy of motivation. It's a crucible for building resilience. To overcome its weight, we must shift our perspective, seeing alone time as an opportunity to connect with our inner resolve. One approach is to visualize the end goal, not for others' approval, but for the satisfaction of achieving what we set out to do. Another is to cultivate self-compassion, acknowledging that struggle is part of growth, not a sign of failure. By reframing solitude as a space for self-discovery, we transform isolation into empowerment, learning to be our own cheerleader and finding strength in our independence. Goals are the compass of self-motivation, guiding us when external markers are absent. But not all goals are equal. Those that spark genuine passion are the ones that endure. I recall setting a goal to run a half marathon, not because others expected it, but because I wanted to prove to myself I could push beyond my limits. That personal connection kept me lacing up my shoes, even on cold, lonely mornings. Effective goals are specific, meaningful, and aligned with our values. They give us something to strive for that feels inherently rewarding. Instead of aiming to be successful, we might aim to master a new skill in 6 months, or complete a project that reflects our vision. Breaking these goals into smaller milestones creates a sense of progress, each step fueling the next. When we tie our efforts to what lights us up inside, the lack of external cheers becomes irrelevant, and our goals become beacons that keep us moving forward. Motivation alone is a fickle flame. It flickers without structure to keep it burning. Habits are the framework that turns fleeting inspiration into lasting progress. I learned this when I committed to writing daily, even when the muse was absent. At first, it felt mechanical. But over time, the routine became a source of strength, carrying me through days when motivation waned. The key is to create habits that are simple and repeatable, like writing for 10 minutes each morning or reviewing goals at the start of the week. These routines reduce reliance on willpower by making action automatic. Environment matters too. Setting up a dedicated workspace or minimizing distractions signals to our brain that it's time to focus. Consistency builds momentum, and over time, these habits become part of who we are. By embedding our drive into daily rituals, we ensure that our motivation endures, even when no one is there to witness our efforts. The fear of failure can dim even the brightest spark of self-motivation, especially when there's no one to cushion the fall. Yet, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a teacher that shapes our path. I once poured months into a project proposal, only to have it rejected without explanation. The sting was sharp, but reflecting on it, I realized the process taught me resilience and refined my approach. Embracing failure means seeing it as feedback, not a verdict on our worth. Each setback reveals what works and what doesn't, guiding us toward better strategies. To stay motivated, we can adopt a growth mindset, viewing challenges as opportunities to learn rather than as roadblocks. Celebrating small wins, even after failures, reinforces our progress and keeps us moving forward. When we accept that stumbles are part of the journey, we free ourselves to act without needing external validation, trusting that each step, even a misstep, brings us closer to our goals. Our inner voice can be our greatest ally or our harshest critic, especially in the absence of external support. A negative self-dialogue, "I'm not good enough, this will never work," can sap motivation, while a kind, encouraging one can fuel it. I've caught myself spiraling into doubt during challenging projects, but I've learned to counter it by speaking to myself as I would a friend. Phrases like, "You've got this," or "Just keep going," may sound simple, but they shift the tone of our inner world. Practicing positive self-talk involves consciously challenging negative thoughts and replacing them with affirmations rooted in reality, like, "I'm making progress, even if it's slow." Journaling can also help, allowing us to process doubts and celebrate achievements, no matter how small. This inner dialogue becomes our personal cheerleader, filling the silence with encouragement. By nurturing a supportive inner voice, we create a wellspring of motivation that doesn't rely on anyone else's praise. Self-motivation is the art of being your own champion, driven by an inner fire that burns regardless of external applause. It starts with discovering a personal purpose that ignites passion and sustains effort through solitude. By setting meaningful goals, building consistent habits, and embracing failure as a teacher, we create a framework for progress that doesn't depend on others' validation. A positive inner dialogue reinforces our resolve, turning doubts into stepping stones. Each small action, taken in the quiet of our own commitment, builds a life of purpose and resilience. The absence of external cheers is not a barrier, but an invitation to tap into our deepest strengths. By mastering self-motivation, we unlock the power to shape our future, proving that the greatest encouragement comes from within. Today, choose to be your own motivator, and let every step forward be a testament to your unwavering drive.